Some foods are fun to eat, but rarer still are those recipes whose name is fun to say. And few can match that of Bubble and Squeak. Yes, Bubble and Squeak is an actual recipe, and its merits go beyond just a cute name. Bubble and Squeak is an extraordinarily simple and inexpensive dish to cook, and it's more cost-effective still when you consider that its original purpose was to use up leftovers. No wasted food here. By the end of this video, you'll know what Bubble and Squeak is, how easy it is to cook, and, oh yeah, why it gets that funny name. Let's get cooking. Hello and welcome to I Want to Cook. My name is Chef Matt, and this channel is all about helping you be a better cook. And today we are cooking up Bubble and Squeak. Now, if you're among my UK viewers, you assuredly already know what Bubble and Squeak is. In fact, maybe you're eating a plate of it right now. But if you're in the rest of the world, including here in America like myself, Bubble and Squeak might be a mystery. So for my non-British viewers out there, let me quickly explain what Bubble and Squeak is all about. So at its most basic, Bubble and Squeak is simply pre-cooked potatoes that are mixed with cabbage and then fried until the outsides are golden brown and crispy, while the insides remain nice and soft. Now, like any great recipe, there's plenty of room for variation. The potatoes, well, they could be leftover mashed potatoes or roasted potatoes or even steamed potatoes. And you don't have to use cabbage. You can use just about any other pre-cooked vegetable that you have lying around. And that variation is due to the original intent of Bubble and Squeak. See, Bubble and Squeak is a recipe that uses leftovers. So the idea is that if you had some potatoes lying around from, let's say, the night before and some vegetables, well, you could form that into something new and get a new meal out of it. So let's say a British family had a nice roasted meal on Sunday night with meat, potatoes, and vegetables. And come Monday, well, they want to repurpose the leftovers. They could form everything into patties, fry it up, and you have a new meal out of an old meal. Because apparently even hundreds of years ago, we didn't really like to eat the same thing twice. Now, one thing Bubble and Squeak recipes will have in common is the way that it's cooked. Because believe it or not, back in the 1800s, well, we didn't have microwaves or even air fryers, but we did have frying pans and fat. See where I'm going here? The idea with Bubble and Squeak is that you combine your ingredients into patties large or small, heat some sort of fat in a pan, and fry the concoction until the outside is golden brown and delicious. In my view, it's almost like what would happen if a frittata and hash browns had a baby. Speaking of eggs, I like to add them to my mixture to help bind it together and add more nutrition to the mix. Now, of course, we have to talk about that name. Why is it called Bubble and Squeak? Well, legend has it that that's the sound it makes while it's cooking. Hear that? Yeah, as the patties are frying in the fat, the oil, or the butter, well, the whole concoction, it bubbles and it squeaks. Another variation of the legend is that's the sound your stomach makes after eating Bubble and Squeak. And honestly, I've found both to be a bit true. And I must mention that there are variations of Bubble and Squeak around the world. In Ireland, they have colcannon, which is mashed potatoes and cabbage mixed together, and the Belgians have stump. Now, to my friends across the pond, I must admit that only recently have I started making Bubble and Squeak at home, though I have had it at restaurants a time or two. So as you watch me prepare Bubble and Squeak here, please keep any criticisms, well, constructive and gentle. I'd love to know how to do it better, and you can share that in the comments below. So with the background out of the way, let's cook up some Bubble and Squeak. For the purposes of this video, I made my first batch of Bubble and Squeak fresh instead of using leftovers. So I cooked the potatoes and cabbage specifically with the intent of using them immediately for Bubble and Squeak. You can do this too. I also saved a batch of the ingredients to make another round of Bubble and Squeak the next day. So know that whether you make this as a same-day side dish or from leftovers, it will work. The process will largely be the same. The first thing we want to do is cook the potatoes. You can boil them, steam them, or roast them. It's really your call. For my version here, I boiled them in a pot for reasons you'll soon see. To start, grab 2 or 3 large russet or Idaho potatoes and start peeling. Pro tip: once peeled, put them in water so they don't oxidize, meaning the outsides turn brown. Once the spuds are peeled, cut them into large dices. You don't need to be exact here, you just want them roughly the same size so each piece cooks at about the same time. Put all the pieces of potato in a large pot of cold water, then add a tablespoon of kosher salt. If it seems like we're making homemade mashed potatoes here, it's the same process. And here's another pro tip. Just as if we were making mashed potatoes, start the process in cold rather than simmering or boiling water. This enables the potatoes to be cooked through thoroughly and at the same rate. Bring the water to a boil, skim and discard any foam from the top, then simply simmer the potatoes until they are nearly fork tender. While the potatoes cook, cut up about half a head of cabbage. Here I'm just using green cabbage, and this will be our vegetable component. You could also use Brussels sprouts or, again, just about anything else you have lying around. You could cook the cabbage separately, but since I'm making a dedicated recipe for Bubble and Squeak, I'm actually going to throw the pieces into the same pot as the potatoes. That's why I'm using the simmer method here. So when the potatoes are nearly done, add the cabbage and cook for 5 to 10 minutes until it's tender yet still has some crunch to it. Now drain everything into a colander, then put it into one big bowl. If making the Bubble and Squeak immediately instead of the next day, let it cool a bit, then add a couple of whisked eggs. This is optional, but I find it helps act as food glue. Add some salt and pepper. I start with a teaspoon of each, and then we'll form into a patty or patties. For my initial batch, I started with a few smaller patties, about the size of hamburgers. Grab a skillet or griddle, heat on medium-high, then add butter, oil, or your choice of fat. Here I'm simply using butter. Make sure it gets nice and hot. I wait for the butter to, yep, you got it, bubble. Now carefully put each patty into the pan. I'm not a big non-stick guy, but I find a non-stick griddle is a great tool for this application. Now we just let the patties cook. Your patience will be rewarded. Let them cook for about 10 minutes or until the bottom gets golden and crisp. Listen closely. Do you hear some of that squeaking? Your food is talking to you, maybe thanking you for being such a good cook. When the bottom is done to your liking, carefully turn over the patties and repeat the process on the other side. Mine took about 20 minutes total. When done, pile the patties on a plate. You can eat these as is or even slide an egg on top. To make a larger patty, as I did the next day, simply make a larger one out of the potatoes and cabbage mixture and repeat the process. Using a spoon, I first scooped out the mixture, then made it into a bigger patty with my hands, an exercise that almost felt like working with dough. Speaking of, I've seen some recipes for Bubble and Squeak that call for flour as additional binder, but I didn't personally try that. Have you? If so, comment below. Once I created the larger patty, I slid it onto a big spatula for reasons you'll see next. With my griddle again heated and buttered, I turned the potato-laden spatula upside down for the dismount. Phew! It worked. Now it was just a matter of rinse and repeat, or should I say bubble and squeak. Brown, flip, enjoy. For this bigger patty, I decided to top it with an over-easy egg, and my oh my, this works. The slightly ruddy yolk acted as a sauce with the potato and cabbage mixture, ultimately turning a side dish into a meal. So there you go, that's my experience as a guy on the other side of the pond making Bubble and Squeak. I hope you try this. Just grab some leftover potatoes, grab some vegetables you might have lying around, form it all into a patty, grab a skillet and fry it up, and let me know what you think. Now to my British friends out there, how'd I do? Let me know your Bubble and Squeak secrets and favorite variations in the comments below. Okay, trivia time. Last week I asked you to identify this. It's a part of something, and so many of you immediately knew what this is. This is the dough blade for a food processor, particularly a Cuisinart food processor. Now, if you've ever made dough in your food processor, you know that you can usually use the metal blade. But if you're making bigger batches of dough, usually over 3.5 cups, this is the blade you're going to want to grab. Congratulations to everybody who correctly identified this as the dough blade for a food processor. For this week's culinary trivia, we could also call this a part of something, and I have a feeling that some of you are going to immediately recognize what this is. If you know what this is or have a guess, and if you like, well, what we can say it houses, put your answer in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Until next time, I hope you want to cook.